The man who once sang at Princess Diana's funeral like a grieving father, the one who stood by her sons through unimaginable pain for nearly 30 years, has finally snapped. And the way he destroyed Prince Harry? It wasn't with a screaming argument. It wasn't with a leaked text. It was cold, quiet, and absolutely brutal. 4 savage words that just shattered one of the most iconic friendships in royal history. Insiders are saying Elton John looked Harry straight in the eyes and delivered the ultimate betrayal. "I am not your ATM." What was supposed to be a private moment between a legendary superstar and the broken prince he helped raise has now exploded into the biggest royal scandal of 2026. After Harry dragged Elton into a £50 million court disaster and then had the audacity to ask for even more money for his struggling Invictus Games, the music icon finally reached his limit. But this isn't just about money. This is about years of hidden resentment, broken promises, and a prince who many now say has become completely unrecognizable. How did their once unbreakable bond reach this devastating breaking point? What did Harry say back? And is this the final nail in the coffin for the Duke of Sussex's remaining celebrity support? Stick around, because what happened next is even darker than you think. For almost 3 decades, Sir Elton John wasn't just a friend to Prince Harry. He was family. He was the steady hand, the secret father figure, the one person who truly understood the crushing weight of grief that Harry carried since the day his mother was ripped away from him in that Paris tunnel. Back in 1997, when the world watched in horror as Diana's coffin moved through London, Elton sat at that piano in Westminster Abbey and turned Candle in the Wind into a heartbreaking global anthem. He raised millions for her memorial fund and then made a promise. That version of the song would never be performed again. It belonged only to Diana. That single moment cemented Elton as more than a rock star. He became the guardian of her legacy and the protector of her 2 devastated boys. Over the years, Elton was there through everything. Late-night calls when Harry was spiraling. Private advice when the young prince didn't know who to trust. He performed at Harry and Meghan's wedding in 2018, dancing and singing like a proud uncle. When the couple fled the royal family in 2020, Elton publicly defended them, blasting the same tabloid press he believed had killed Diana. He even lent them his private jet and opened his homes to them. David Furnish, Elton's husband, once swore under oath that Elton had become a true parental figure to Harry, a man who filled the massive void left by Diana's death. Harry himself wrote in his memoir Spare with raw emotion, "I loved him. I'll always love him." Those words now feel like a painful echo, but behind the glamorous photos and public support, cracks had been forming for years. Insiders whisper that Harry's growing paranoia, endless legal battles, and bottomless financial needs slowly started draining even Elton's legendary patience. The man who built an empire worth hundreds of millions was being treated like an open wallet. And then came the summer of 2026, the moment everything finally exploded. A catastrophic court loss, a mountain of legal debt, and one desperate prince who pushed his oldest ally too far. What happened next would shock the entire world and change their relationship forever. 8 days ago, Prince Harry walked out of a London courtroom as a broken man. The high-stakes privacy case he launched against the Daily Mail's publisher, the one he was convinced would finally destroy his enemies in the press, ended in total humiliation. All 97 claims were thrown out. Every single one. The judge's 436-page ruling was merciless, calling out the lack of real evidence and basically accusing Harry's team of wasting the court's time. The financial damage? Catastrophic. Legal experts are estimating the total bill could smash through £50 million. And guess who was right there on the claimant list alongside Harry? Sir Elton John and his husband David Furnish. According to multiple insiders, Harry had personally reassured several co-claimants, including Elton, that he and the legendary singer would personally absorb the massive costs if they lost. Elton, loyal to the end, had trusted him. But the nightmare was only beginning. Still reeling from the devastating courtroom defeat, Harry reportedly flew straight to Elton's home. The meeting was supposed to be private. What happened inside those walls has now leaked through devastated sources close to the singer. Harry didn't just ask for help with the legal fees. He asked for millions more, this time to save his struggling Invictus Games in Birmingham 2027, which insiders say is facing a shocking £25 million shortfall. With corporate sponsors pulling out and donations drying up, Harry was desperate. He needed the man he once called family to write another massive check. The tension in the room was unbearable. Elton, now 78 and quietly battling his own health issues including severe vision loss, listened in stunned silence as Harry laid out his demands. Then came the moment that shattered everything. Elton looked at Harry, the boy he had comforted for decades, and delivered 4 ice-cold, savage words that cut deeper than any knife. "I am not your ATM." The silence that followed was deafening. Sources say Harry's face went pale. He tried to argue, reminding Elton of their history, of Diana, of all the years of support. But Elton was done. He allegedly told Harry he felt used, manipulated, and dragged into a reckless legal war he never fully believed in. He was furious that Harry had publicly attacked the judge while expecting Elton to quietly pay the price. Insiders claim Elton finally unleashed years of pent-up frustration. "You've turned into someone I barely recognize. This has to stop." Harry reportedly left the meeting in tears, angry, humiliated, and completely blindsided. The prince who once had the world at his feet had just been rejected by the last major celebrity who still had his back. But here's where the story takes an even darker twist. Just hours after that explosive confrontation, leaked messages began circulating among close circles. In them, Harry allegedly blamed Elton for bringing him into the lawsuit in the first place. According to one source, Harry was furious that Elton had introduced him to the lawyer David Sherburne years earlier. Now he was painting his former mentor as partly responsible for the disaster. Social media is already exploding. Clips of Elton's past emotional support for Harry are being played side by side with the new reports of his brutal rejection. The internet is divided, some calling Harry entitled and delusional, others accusing Elton of abandoning Diana's son at his lowest moment. And the worst part? This might only be the beginning, because powerful sources close to Elton are now saying the singer is not just angry, he's considering going public. What happens if the man who sang at Diana's funeral decides to speak out against her youngest son? The royal family is watching in stunned silence. The palace is bracing for impact. And Harry may have just lost the one person who truly loved him like a son. Within hours, the story detonated across the globe like a bomb. Insiders close to Elton John didn't just leak the devastating forward rejection. They went further. Multiple sources revealed that Elton is furious and deeply hurt, claiming Harry's endless demands have crossed every boundary of decency. One leaked report says Elton told friends, "I loved that boy like my own. But he's become someone who only calls when he needs something." The timing couldn't be worse for Harry. Fresh off his humiliating court loss, he was in the UK desperately trying to raise £25 million for the 2027 Invictus Games. What was supposed to be a triumphant fundraising tour has now turned into a public disaster. Corporate donors are suddenly silent. Wealthy contacts who once opened their wallets are now unavailable. Social media has turned into a war zone. Twitter, X, is flooded with hashtags like #EltonDumpsHarry and #NotYourM trending worldwide. Viral threads are dissecting every past photo of Elton and Harry, from the emotional wedding performance to quiet moments of support, now reframed as proof of Harry's entitled behavior. Then came the second, even more shocking twist that no one saw coming. According to explosive new leaks, Elton allegedly discovered that Harry had been privately bad-mouthing him to mutual friends for months, complaining that the singer wasn't doing enough to support his causes. One insider claims Harry told a close contact, "Elton owes me. He owes my mother." Those words reportedly reached Elton right before their confrontation, making the betrayal feel even more brutal. Celebrities are starting to pick sides. Some A-listers are quietly distancing themselves from Harry, while others are sending private messages of support to Elton. The palace is said to be in full damage control mode, with senior royals reportedly not surprised by the fallout. But the most devastating detail of all. Sources now say Elton has made it crystal clear. This isn't just a temporary break. He has reportedly closed the door permanently on funding any of Harry's future projects. The man once called the Bank of Elton by royal insiders has officially shut down all accounts. And just when you think it can't get any worse, new reports are emerging that Meghan is furious with Harry for burning through their last powerful ally. Is the Sussex empire quietly crumbling from the inside? The next 48 hours could change everything. The internet has officially lost its mind. Within minutes of the story breaking, social media platforms exploded in a firestorm of shock, betrayal, and savage memes. Hashtag Elton dumps Harry shot to #1 worldwide, with millions of posts dissecting the 4 brutal words, "I am not your ATM." Fans are split right down middle, some calling Harry a spoiled, entitled prince who's finally facing consequences, while others accuse Elton of abandoning Diana's son in his darkest hour. One viral Twitter thread with over 2.5 million views reads, Elton sang at Diana's funeral. He held Harry when he was a grieving boy. Now he's being treated like a walking checkbook? This is heartbreaking. Another post went nuclear. Harry went from spare to ungrateful spare tire. Elton finally said what everyone's thinking. Celebrity reactions are pouring in fast, and they are brutal. A close friend of Elton's reportedly texted a major outlet. He's devastated. This isn't just about money, it's about respect. Harry pushed too far. Meanwhile, several A-list stars who once supported the Sussexes are staying suspiciously silent. Some industry insiders claim private group chats among Hollywood elites are buzzing with messages like, "Another one bites the dust," and the Sussex support list is getting shorter by the day. The music industry is particularly stunned. Elton John is a living legend, a man who has survived decades of chaos with grace. Many artists are publicly praising his decision to set boundaries. One Grammy-winning singer posted cryptically, "Protect your peace, even if it means walking away from people you love." British tabloids are having a field day. Headlines scream, Elton's savage rejection. Harry's £50 million disaster leaves him isolated, and the day the music died for Sussex. Royal commentators are calling this Harry's worst week in 30 years. Even Invictus supporters are panicking. Veterans and donors are questioning whether the games can survive without major backers. One leaked email from a potential corporate sponsor simply read, "Given the current drama, we are pausing all discussions. The divide is growing more toxic by the hour." Harry defenders call it a coordinated smear, while critics say this proves what they've been warning about for years, that Harry has become bitter, entitled, and dangerously out of touch. And in the middle of this chaos, one question is on everyone's lips. What will Elton John say publicly? Because if the man who loved Diana decides to speak his truth, the consequences could be catastrophic. But just when the world thought this story couldn't possibly get more explosive, the final, devastating twist has emerged that changes everything. According to highly placed sources who spoke exclusively within the last few hours, Elton John isn't just stepping back. He is reportedly preparing to cut ties completely. Insiders claim he has told close friends that he feels betrayed on a soul level and that Harry's behavior has become unrecognizable from the boy Diana raised. The most shocking revelation of all? Multiple sources now confirm that Elton has instructed his team to explore options regarding his financial involvement in the failed lawsuit. He is said to be furious that Harry allegedly downplayed the risks and pushed forward despite private warnings. One insider dropped a bombshell. Elton feels Harry used their sacred connection to Diana as emotional blackmail to drag him into this mess. He's done protecting him. Even darker whispers are circulating that Harry tried one last desperate plea after the confrontation, referencing his mother's memory in an attempt to guilt Elton. That move, sources say, backfired spectacularly and may have sealed the permanent end of their relationship. Meanwhile, behind the walls of Montecito, the atmosphere is said to be toxic. Meghan is reportedly livid, telling friends that Harry's obsession with old grudges and legal wars has now cost them their most powerful remaining ally. One leaked comment from someone close to the couple claims, she warned him not to push Elton too far. The royal family is watching this unfold with stunned silence. Some senior courtiers are allegedly relieved, believing this public humiliation might be the wake-up call Harry desperately needs. But here's what should terrify Harry the most. Elton John has remained silent publicly so far. If the 78-year-old music icon, the man who sang at Diana's funeral, defended Harry when the world turned against him and stood by him for 3 decades, decides to break that silence and speak his truth, it could be the final nail in the coffin for Harry's reputation. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. The question everyone is asking now is, will Elton go public? Will more celebrities follow and abandon the Sussexes? And what happens to Invictus when the money completely dries up? The next few days could destroy what's left of Harry's world.
Stay tuned.
This story is far from finished. Tell me right now in the comments. Who do you think is really in the wrong here? Did Elton John finally do what everyone else was too scared to do by setting a hard boundary? Or has he abandoned Diana's son when he needed him most? Drop your hottest take below. Be honest. This one is going to get heated. If this explosive breakdown of how a 30-year sacred bond just exploded in the most savage way possible shook you, destroyed you, or left you speechless, smash that like button right now. It helps push this story to more people who need to see the truth behind the glamour. Turn on post notifications and subscribe because the next 48 hours are going to be insane. We're tracking every new leak, every celebrity reaction, and every possible move Elton might make. If he decides to speak out publicly, you do not want to miss that episode. This drama is nowhere near over. Harry has lost court cases before. He's survived scandals. But losing the last living link to his mother's inner circle, the man who sang her into the ground in front of 2 billion people, that might be the wound that never heals.
Whose side are you on?
Elton or Harry? Or do you think both of them are now paying the price for years of bad decisions? Let me know in the comments. The most honest, raw, and brutal opinions will be pinned. Thank you for watching until the end. I know this one hit different. See you in the next update because trust me, this saga is only getting started.